watch it, fix it, work it, bathe it, and perfect it. Shout it, sing it, swing it, pop it, love it, pump it, push it, change it, explore it. Explore it. Frame it, light it, point it, shoot it, snap it, zoom it, ultra wide it, save it, store it, and secure it, lock it, own it, and protect it. Explore it. Explore it. Grab it, drive it, blast it, jump it, see it, hear it, touch it, feel it, act it, break it, join it, light it, live it, live it, live it, live it. Explore it. Explore it. Explore it.
There is always more to explore.
Explore it.
Explore it on Huawei App Gallery.
Explore it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Huawei Developer Day Online Summit. Today we want to immerse you in the universe of Huawei Mobile Services. Please welcome Mr. Wang Yanmin, President of Global Partnerships and Eco-Development, to lead us on this journey.
Thank you. Now we just enjoy a very exciting launch event by Richard Yu. Huawei launched the new exciting product, the MateBook, the new foldable smartphone, and a lot. But today, you know, the most important product launched by Richard Yu, it's App Gallery. Now, I want to introduce the App Gallery and the new plan of our App Gallery in 2020. So before we start, let's take a look at a very interesting short video.
Sometimes I don't get the benefits of the app when I download it, and I don't see innovation and excitement inside.
What I don't like about my current app store is that there are quite a few apps with fake recommendations, and that makes it really hard to choose the right one.
There's just a lot of apps with bad quality that just won't work, and I feel like maybe they need to step up their game with quality vetting before they let them into the app store.
I don't know where my data is being stored, so it just doesn't feel very secure at all.
So, from this street interview, what is the number one complaint about the App Store? Data privacy. So, we all care about our personal data. For example, your password, your bank information, and your fingerprint information. So all this personal data, it's very risk currently in the mobile ecosystem. Number two concern, you know, currently in current mobile app stores, there are millions of apps. You need to choose. Very difficult to find what you want. Number three concern is low quality. There are a lot of low quality apps and content in the current app store. So those customer complaints is our opportunity. That is one of the important reasons to let us to bring a totally new mobile ecosystem. So customers want a reliable, a more secure mobile ecosystem. How can we do it? Firstly, you know, we just launched our new yearly annual report. Last year, in the year of 2019, Huawei shipped more than 240 million smartphones in the world. That is not enough. There are more than 600 million of the monthly active users in the world. Those big customer base will enable us to develop a new mobile ecosystem. This is the latest brand survey. More than approximately 60% of the people, they consider to buy a new Huawei smart devices. So, Huawei is a brand choice of the customers. But that is not enough. So, we have the customer base. We have a very big number of customer base. Why is not enough? Because to create a new mobile ecosystem, we must have the new technology, new approach. We know in the past 10 years, there are not of this effort. It's dead. So we must to build the core capabilities, a totally new platform to support us to create a new mobile ecosystem. Innovation is our DNA. In the past 30 years, Huawei spent more than 10% of our revenue for the R&D each year. Give you an example. We have the best 5G foldable smartphone just released by Richard Yu. This foldable smartphone is a perfect example of innovation in terms of design and in terms of technology. Another good example is Huawei Mate 10. The Mate 10 is launched in the year of 2017, but which is the first smartphone in the world with embedded NPU chipset. What is the meaning of NPU chipset? NPU could give a smartphone on-device artificial intelligence capabilities. So, like the apps, like the WPS, like storage sign, can benefit from our new innovation. All those capabilities we introduce to you in the future, not only just use for Huawei smartphone, we also will open to all the global developers. Now, there are more than 1.3 million of developers on board. They are working with us every day. And the number is also growing every day. To support them, Huawei built a very strong platform. This platform including HMS Core for the fundamental service. But the more important is our unique capabilities, on-device capabilities. It's we call the Huawei HMS capabilities. It will connect all kinds of the development tools and efficient integration and development. With the support of the platform, we will empower all the developers and publishers for their future innovation. Huawei also built a centralized platform, but with localization support. We will leverage our global service and a supporting platform, we will provide a customized, dedicated technical support to those developers who want us provide one-stop support. That is very unique. We know currently those mobile ecosystem, they only provide the online support, the forum support, but we are different. There are quite many apps right now on board already, also very successfully performed on our app gallery. We sincerely welcome more developers and publishers can work with Huawei. We will provide our best door-to-door service to you, and hopefully next time your icon will be on the board. If you have any other questions, if you need some support, please contact us. And more top apps on board on our app gallery every day. This is a perfect example. It's my pleasure to introduce to you the News UK. This partnership will take the full advantages of Huawei Mate XS, this foldable smartphone screen. Let's listen to Mrs. Scott, the CTO of News UK.
At News UK, we have some of the most historic media brands in the world. The Times was founded in 1785. The Sun is Britain's biggest news website, and more recently we acquired TalkSport, the largest sports radio station in the world. I think there's a really good long-term partnership we can have with Huawei. I feel that there's a lot more innovation we can do and really drive forward amazing customer experiences on their devices. Our engineers have been working with the Huawei engineers over the past month, and we're so impressed with how easily we've been able to integrate with the Huawei Ability Gallery, which seamlessly connects our services to the users. It's been all hands on deck, but we got there. Incredibly, in the next month, our customers can enjoy the Times and Sunday Times, the Sun, and listen to Premier League football on the new Mate XS handset. I'm particularly excited about being able to flip open the phone and see our apps on full screen. It looks really incredible and creates a reading experience like you've never seen on smartphones before.
So that is a perfect example how these third-party apps can benefit from our innovative devices like the MateBook XS. Right now, in the publish, especially for the online publish, they are all facing a big challenge. The most of the news and the contents are invisible. So this partnership will enable those news, this information, these content providers can directly reach their target audience. So, looking forward, our strategy and the plan of 2020. Firstly, we will focus on privacy. Just I mentioned before, data protection, personal data protection. That is the most important features of our Huawei App Gallery. And the second is quality. We must care about the quality. It means the quality of all the apps and the content in our App Gallery. It's very important. Number 3 should be the user experience. We need to build a higher level, best in class of user experience. For the privacy, we know Huawei isolated all those most sensitive personal data, like the facial recognition data, like the fingerprint, to a very different environment. We call this trusted execution environment to offer a best security on the phone, only on the phone. We are the only smartphone company who's to get the approval of the most highest level of the data privacy certification, named CCEL5+. But for the applications protection, it's also very important. Huawei can provide 4 layers of the protection of the applications. Later, my colleagues will introduce more detail about how to protect the end users when they download the apps and content from our app gallery. We have global platform, but for the data center, Huawei have regional data centers to offer optimal data protection for each region. For example, we have the European data center in Germany to make sure all the European customers' data stay only in the Europe. GDPR is the most important policy right now. Huawei provide end-to-end GDPR compliance solution, cover from the cloud to the devices to the operating system. It will give us the most highest level of GDPR compliance. Just I talked before, the News UK. We know currently the end users, our customers, are looking for more local apps, local contents, instead of the global news, the global contents. But right now, the current ecosystem is not easy. People need to go to the current app stores to search it, find it, download it, activate it. So we believe that is a new opportunity for Huawei. So we create a totally new strategy. We call this global apps. For example, if you are living in Oslo, we can provide the Oslo local apps. Those apps is edited by our local Norwegian editors. So it means all the customers living in Oslo can get the most popular apps and contents. So global is our key strategy for our ecosystem. So today we introduce the News UK, and today my colleagues will introduce more case study how this cooperation with our app gallery. We know 5G is coming. 5G is very exciting. What is the 5G can bring to us, can bring to the end users, especially for the new mobile ecosystem? Let's take a look. Consumers are spending less and less time on smartphone because with the 5G coming, people will spend more time on the smartwatch, on the tablet, smart TV. There are a lot of smart devices will coming very soon. So how to enable the developers to develop one-stop apps and content and can offer all the scenarios devices. That is a challenge. The second challenge is people are watching content, listen to music, how to provide a seamless experience to the consumers. That is the second challenge. So Huawei all scenario one-stop strategy together with our HMS will provide a totally new all scenario-based experience both to the customers and developers. Let's work together to create a more secure and reliable mobile application system. I will introduce my colleague, Jaime, on the stage. So he will introduce the challenge of the current developers. They are working on the current mobile ecosystem. So how Huawei can support the developers, especially for some of the big mass of the small and mid-sized developers can grow together with us in the future. Thank you. Let's warm welcome Jaime on the stage.
Thank you very much. I hope everyone watching us today is doing great. My name is Jaime Gonzalo, and my team is in charge of the business growth of our mobile services. Today, we will deep dive into App Gallery as the epicenter of our user engagement ecosystem. Engagement is now more paramount than ever, and every developer knows that. You know why? Well, to start with, there are 2.9 million Android apps out there. This is great news for the users, so much choice. And furthermore, every day there are 6,000 new apps being released. This is amazing. So my question to you is, of the 6,000 apps released yesterday, how many did you download? Or the day before, how many did you download? Or the whole month? That's the thing. 50% of users download 0 apps per month on average. 25% download less than 2, but definitely not thousands. This indicates clearly a bottleneck in the user acquisition. It is hard for developers to acquire users. And no matter how clever is your user acquisition plan, how hard is your user acquisition budget, in the end, users have 80 apps in their phones. Depending on the country, maybe 100, but not thousands. There is a limit. You can check in your own phones how many apps you have installed. It's going to be around that. 2.9 million apps, 80. And it's easy to lose them, as we see in this graph. In my horizontal axis, you will see the top app number 1 to top app number 2.9 million. In the vertical one, you will see the growth of users. So there's a line at the 0% growth that basically shows the companies above that line grow user base per month. Companies below that line lose users every month. In the square, you will see the top 2,000 companies, well, in the rectangle, 2,000 companies that grow users every month. It means that 99.9% of apps of the world lose users every month. Conclusion, very hard to acquire users, very easy to lose users. What if I told you there is a solution to that? The Huawei Mobile Services, the connected engagement ecosystem. Huawei Mobile Services is a fully interconnected ecosystem of services that basically are designed to go through the full life cycle of the user in the usage of the phone. It will reach content and users in a way that is pertinent, that is contextual, that is relevant. We make recommendations, not ads. And you as a developer might think, well, why should I care? I mean, yeah, what Huawei is doing, what is the advantage for me? Well, actually, the advantages are several. The first one is traffic. Eyeballs drive money, and you know that. Traffic, just App Gallery alone has 400 million monthly active users. But because they are part of a connected ecosystem, and you can be displayed in all our windows, we start with an overall monthly base of 600 million users, as my colleague, Mr. Wang, said before. You can be exposed to 600 million users every month. Second, the quality of the download. What I'm showing here is the holy grail of many developers being promoted in a top banner of an app store. Well, we think that the kind of install you get, the kind of download you get from something like this, maybe ends in the churn that I showed before, in the retention drop. It's much better when you combine this with other windows, like personalization, wallpapers. Every time you open your phone, you see the identity of a brand. Seasoning and festivals overall is a fully immersive storytelling across all the windows that we provide. Number 3, monetization incentive. Your work has a value. Educating the user that your work is for free is not going to help your business. So we have created a virtual currency that lives inside our services. To make it simple, the more movies you watch, the more games you can play. The more music you listen to, the more storage you have to store your photos and your family videos. This enables the user to be in a premium stage from day one. When they pay, we reward the first payment. Then the second payment is easier. It's not get for free, then pay. It's you pay, you're part of premium, we give you back, and continue spending because you're a premium quality user. Number 4, the engagement beyond the install. For us, the funnel doesn't end on the download and then good luck. For us, the funnel starts with the download because apps behaves as a service. You are not an anecdote, you are a story, you are lifetime value of the user. And as such, we will continue your story beyond the download through PR activities, through events with people like me showing apps like Saint Seiya that you just saw. Like experience stores, how many retail stores in the world sell Huawei devices? We have people queuing in these stores to see innovation, to discover the next experience level. Let us tell your story in these places. We have influencer channels. This is a Huawei channel displaying an app, which is Wattpad. Social activities, we combine your community, our community together to tell stories of lucky draws, promotions, campaigns, win a phone, very easy. And finally, if you have appetite for the biggest mobile economy in the world, which is China, I think it's obvious that we are the right partner to talk to. So the question here is, okay, in my presentation, all this looks very nice, but what is the result? Does this really work, or is it just nice images? Well, I showed the Saint Seiya campaign. We launched the game in November. In December, there was a bit of organic growth. By January, that we hit the campaign, what you see here is a column of revenue. We had multiplied 100+ times the organic ARPU, average revenue per user. 47% paid user ratio. From all the users who downloaded the game, 47% paid in the game. To put it into perspective, when a game has a 5% or 10% paid user ratio, it's considered a success. It starts to be a success. 47% paid user ratio, it's a remarkable achievement. The story was repeated again thanks to our partnership with Flexion and the game Guns of Glory. Launched the game, a couple of weeks of organic growth to set the benchmark, and from week 6 to week 12, we duplicated the download growth, 6 times growth the revenue of the game, and 2.6 times our average spending per paying user. Very successful and quality downloads, not churn, but incentivizing monetization. Finally, for us, security and privacy of our users are paramount. We have designed an end-to-end, fully secure ecosystem that takes care of all the steps in the interaction with the user. Starting by before releasing, We ensure the identity of the developer. The source of the app, is it legit? Make sure that it comes from the right place. During the release of the app, we make sure there's no malicious behavior, malware check, terms and conditions that are abusive, any kind of bad configuration of the app, we avoid. While installing the app, we secure a fully encrypted end-to-end channel to make sure there's no disruption on the service from our servers to your phones, and we ensure the integrity of the package. And during the use of the app, we make sure that everything is satisfactory for the user. On top of that, we have a full compliance or GDPR with certifications granted by the European Union to protect our system, the user data, the account management, and our payment system. Fully compliant. This is great news for the users. For the developers, however, this means that we are probably the app store that rejects the most apps in the world. Last year, we rejected 37% of the apps that were submitted to upgrade. Please take security and privacy as seriously as we do. We can help you with that, but we will not compromise the safety and security of our users to grow our catalog of apps. With that, in a nutshell, to wrap up, remember, our ecosystem is about activation, engagement, monetization, not about downloads, not about impressions. Everything I showed in here is free for the developer. We don't charge you to be advertised. The war of competition for user acquisition budget is over. We care about quality. You are a small developer, you cannot compete with the big ones, but you have a good story to tell. Talk to us. We will listen to you. You will have a voice with us. 600 million active users, 85% revenue share for all in-app purchases, and a global expansion of your current Android business. Not only will we reach countries that you cannot reach with other Android ecosystems, but we also expand beyond the user acquisition and the lifetime of your users. With that, I will let our partners speak for us so that it's not us who tell you how good experience it is to partner with us. What I can tell you is that we don't disappoint. So let my colleague, my friend, Andreas from Flexion explain to you in this video. Thank you very much for your attention.
We're Flexion Mobile, a distribution partner for Android games. We make it easy for game developers to distribute their games to many channels. We work with top-grossing games that we take to leading channels outside Google Play, such as Huawei App Gallery. Working with Huawei has been great for us, with solid technical and commercial support throughout. Results are positive. The catalogue we represent generates $30 million a month in Google Play, and so far we've launched 14 of these games in App Gallery. We've integrated the Huawei App Gallery kit into our automated enabling technology, and this allows us to make games compatible with the App Gallery without any work required by the developer. Key features like Huawei IAP and Huawei ID are added automatically. The Huawei kit was easy to integrate and means that we can make pretty much any game compatible with App Gallery. And together with Huawei, we maximize the growth potential of mobile games.
Hello and welcome. Hello Internet. My name is Andreas and I'm going to talk to you more about the great products that Jaime has been introducing to you. I'm very happy to introduce to you the new possibilities that we have for you as a developer in 2020. And I want to start by making a promise to you. All of our services are built with you, the developer, in mind. So we want to make sure that you can start for free. Our services are free to register and free to start the basic API calls. We want to give you tools that help you develop faster, so you can integrate HMS within 3 development days. And last but not least, we want to give you the right tools for the right task so that you can stay flexible. It's always a great pleasure to talk about the great amount of work that our engineers have put into making HMS possible over the last 5 months. They've really achieved something great. In just 5 months, we've more than doubled the amount of HMS kit capabilities from 11 to 24. In the same time, the amount of developers that have registered on developer.huawei.com has increased to 1.3 million. And on the back of that, we now have over 55,000 applications that have at least one HMS kit integrated. But what is HMS Core actually? What does it mean? HMS Core is actually the backbone of our HMS ecosystem. We're in a very unique position in that we can provide an end-to-end service to our consumer. It all starts with the chipset, the current SoC that powers 5G and AI. Our device software, EMUI, that Matt is going to talk a little bit about later, helps with performance, connectivity, and as you all know, world-class photography. Last but not least, Huawei Mobile Services, App Gallery, and HMS apps that Jaime has been talking about, and HMS Core make up the cloud portion of our end-to-end promise to you. HMS Core is actually at the center of our consumer and developer ecosystem. It connects your content with the Huawei consumers across scenarios and across devices. We want to give you a unique value proposition with HMS Core. We want to make sure that you can build apps efficiently and quickly. We want you to build reliable and safe apps, apps that are valuable to your users, and finally, apps that are smarter by using on-device artificial intelligence. This is your HMS Core toolkit. In 3 pillars, we give you the right tools to develop basic services, grow and engage your user base, and monetize your user base.
SOS Travel è nata circa 2 anni fa e aggrega in un'app tutte le informazioni utili per i viaggiatori. Ambiamo a diventare il punto di riferimento per i viaggiatori di tutto il mondo. L'integrazione di HMS ha portato molteplici benefici. Lo sfruttamento di App Gallery, Huawei Account, kit di location e mappe, l'in-app purchase che ha portato anche un beneficio in termini economici, viste le percentuali. Per noi è strategico integrare la nostra app con HMS. Ci rende sicuramente pronti al futuro con benefici immediati e pratici.
Rudolf and his team at SOS Travel were among the pioneers to actually integrate HMS Core into their applications. To date, they've implemented Account Kit to make a seamless login experience for their users. They've implemented Location Kit for super accurate and fast user location service. And finally, they implemented in-app purchases to make frictionless payments for their services in their app. We're really happy to partner with them, and we hope that the HMS ecosystem brings a lot of success to their app. If you're a frequent traveler, I suggest that you download this app, and you can find it on App Gallery today. Apart from the basic services to empower your app, we also recently, in London, in January actually, released some new next-generation capabilities. Firstly, we announced Quick Apps, which is an easy way for you to create installation-less, tap-to-use apps based on HTML5 to minimize the amount of work needed to implement it. And second of all, we also launched Machine Learning Kit, our ML Kit, which is based on our years of experience working with on-device AI. It actually gives you easy-to-implement AI functions that can enhance your app. An ecosystem is nothing without you, and an ecosystem is nothing without partners. So we're very proud to have partnered with AppsFlyer, Kochava, Adjust, Unity, and others to make sure that our ecosystem has end-to-end attribution and that development for it is easy and seamless. So you can actually use Unity to develop your app for HMS. But what does it actually take to integrate HMS Core into your app? Well, depending on the level of integration, we calculate about an average of 3 man-days per service. From registration to application release, we can calculate another 3 days. So it is relatively fast to do. We would like to invite you today to join our developer community. Go to Huawei Developer and register. You'll find all of the documentation on the kits. You'll find code labs, and you'll find direct access to our support. And with that, let's take a look at a video from one of our partners, Adevinta.
My name is Albert Sellares, and I'm the CTO of Adevinta Spain. In Adevinta, we are the biggest marketplace player specialist in Europe. We are present in 16 countries. In Spain, we have 4 main brands. With those brands, we have 80 million monthly active users. We collaborate with Huawei because we think that our strategies are aligned. For example, in 2017, 16% of our users were using Huawei devices. Today, this is up to 25%. Right now, we are moving all our apps into the Huawei App Gallery, and the experience is good. The support that we are receiving is better than other players. We plan to do joint marketing campaigns through all our apps. And together, as we speak, 3 people have been able to find a job through InfoJobs, and one of those probably was using a Huawei device.
Hello everybody. It's for me a great pleasure to be here. My name is Mathieu Plochu, and I am the head of software ecosystem in Europe. Today, I would like to talk about Huawei HMS capabilities and how to empower a standout experience. But first, let's have a look to the market. The number of devices that our customer is owning is growing. In 2015, you and I were having only 2 devices, a laptop and a smartphone. But by 2025, with the development of 5G and IoT, our customers are expecting to have more than 9 devices. You would expect they will be more and more connected, but also more and more productive. But the reality is different. Hardware is isolated. It's really hard to share content or files between devices. Today, I would like to address 3 problems: hardware limitation, content isolation, and poor streaming performance. So let's start by the first one, hardware limitation. You have a lot of hardware around you with a lot of capabilities, and most of our customers are using the smartphone to do everything. The reality is you have a TV where the video experience is much better. You have a laptop where you have a keyboard and a mouse. We can offer better productivity. But you cannot leverage it because the app has been developed for a smartphone and live on the smartphone. But with Huawei Device Virtualization Kit, you can now leverage any capabilities of every hardware. The Device Virtualization Kit extracts the capabilities of every hardware and put it in a pool of services that app developer can request. As an app developer, you cannot offer a true connected and seamless experience. You can request a microphone for a smart speaker. You can request a screen from the TV, or you can use any hardware which offer the best customer experience for your application. Let's take a concrete example, Daily Yoga. This is a true and existing app which are using our DV kits today. Our users are doing more and more sport at home. They are doing yoga with their device, with their smartphone. They put it on the floor, and the customer experience is definitely not the best. They have to have a holder, they put it on the floor, and then when they do the exercise, it's just really hard to have visibility on the screen. What about to improve this experience? What about to innovate to bring the best connected experience to our customers? This is what DVKit is about. With DVKit, Daily Yoga is able to invoke the best screen in your house, which is your TV. This is the center of your living room. It's just the best screen to watch when you are doing your exercise. With DV Kit, daily yoga is able to invoke camera to just track your body position and give you real-time feedback as a real coach would do. You can also imagine that in the future, they will integrate access to microphone to ask the customer to be able to request more information about a position or ask for the next exercise. With DV Kit, you have the possibility to truly innovate. The second problem I want to address today is about content isolation. Huawei make really sure that you can share files between your smartphone and your laptop seamlessly. But the true problem is when a third-party partner or third-party hardware come to play. It's just really hard to share files between each other. For the first time today, Huawei want to open this capability to third-party partner. We want our partner to use our innovation to truly enable content sharing. We are supporting 3 platforms: Android, Windows, and Linux. We work with the best partner in Europe. For example, Siwi. Siwi is the #1 printing machine in Europe. As you know, our customers love to take pictures. They love to use their smartphone to take landscape picture, portraits, or their family picture. But they also want to be able to print it out, to share it with a friend and their family. The problem today is the experience is really complicated. If you walk in a shop and you go to the Siwi machine, it's just really hard to share your files from the smartphone to the machine. It can take up to 10 minutes or even 20 minutes, depending on how many files you want to share. With Huawei Share, this experience is now 10 seconds. You just select the picture on your phone, and you can share with Huawei Share your picture directly to the Siwi machine and walk out with your printout. This is a true example. This is what we are doing with our partner. We help them to create an innovative solution or to offer a true connectivity experience. The last problem I would like to discuss today is about streaming performance. As you probably know, there is a lot of solutions on the market. But if you have tried, you will know that it is first really complicated and also not really robust. The connectivity is dropping, and the customer and the experience is far from being perfect. CAS Plus has been developed by our engineers, keeping in mind what the customer really wants. It's about movie, gaming, and productivity. For movie, we have kept in mind the problem of connectivity. CAS Plus has been designed to resist to packet loss, up to 20%. Giving you a true seamless experience, even with poor connectivity. Gaming, the main problem is about latency. For the first time, Huawei has developed a solution with a latency of 50 milliseconds, giving you a true experience of gaming for any type of games. And the last one, about productivity. Our customers are all time on the go, and they want to be able to be productive anywhere they go. You have most of the time your document or your presentation on your smartphone. But you want to be able to share it during a meeting. This is what CAS Plus enables you to do. You are able to connect with a smart screen or a whiteboard, being able to share content. And with the reverse control, you're able to modify and save seamlessly your content on your smartphone. To summarize, with the development of 5G and IoT, our customer will have for sure more and more devices. In 2025, they will have up to 9 devices. But what about 2030, 2035, or 2040? They will have, with no doubt, a lot of devices. The question is, are you ready to embrace connectivity? And are you ready to break device boundaries? Thank you.
Take it, spin it, watch it, fix it, work it, paint it, and perfect it. Shout it, sing it, swing it, pop it, love it, pump it, push it, change it. Explore it. Explore it. Frame it, light it, point it, shoot it, snap it, zoom it, ultra wide it, save it, store it, and secure it, lock it, own it, and protect it. Explore it. Explore it. Grab it, drive it, blast it, jump it, see it, hear it, touch it, feel it, act it, break it, join it, light it, live it, live it, live it, live it. Explore it. Explore it. Explore it.
There is always more to explore.
Explore it.
Explore it on Huawei App Gallery.
Explore it.
Welcome to this Huawei Developers Day online summit and this panel discussion. First of all, thank you guys for very nice presentations, and thank you for inviting me here as a moderator from Norway. It's quite an honor to be here. I must say, honestly, I didn't know much about Huawei, but 2 years ago I had the opportunity to visit your headquarters in China. And after getting to know you guys and your plans, I'm quite amazed of what's going ahead. And one of the questions I have, Mr. Wang, is you see that there's, last 15 years, you've had a continuous revenue. You've increased your sales every year. You're among the top 10 most valuable brands in the world. Could you please tell me a little bit about how did you contribute to this success?
I think there is no secret behind. Huawei is a company. We always take the product and the technology as a first priority. So we spend more than 10% of the revenue every year to invest the future technology and product. But what's more, it's the company culture is we are customer-centric. We always put our customer as a top priority in the whole company. And I think the most important part of the secret, could be said is secret, is the company is owned by the employees. So everybody in the company take the ownership. So that is something different with the other companies.
And I also see that the company is very focused on the long-term planning, the long-term strategies. And Mr. Wang, could you tell me a little bit about the long-term plan for the Huawei Mobile Services?
Yes, we think it's a very challenging. In the past 15 years, there are not of this kind of ecosystem investment. It's not successful. Even start from very big companies. So that is a challenge. So we must think in advance, and we must to develop a long-term strategy. So long-term strategies, we believe from our customer, they need security, they need more innovative, more high quality, more open ecosystem. So they need to have more choice. From the channels, from our partners, so they very welcome the competition. And the developers and publishers, they need more healthy ecosystem. They need to grow more faster compared with current ecosystem.
Yeah.
So we believe that is our chance, but that is not enough. We must create our platform to support, to help our customer, to support the partner and support the developers to create a new apps and content and to attract any users to download it, find it, and activate it.
Yeah.
So platform is also long-term strategy. So, and number three, I think is the technology. So 5G is coming, and the artificial intelligence, all scenarios, that is the key for the future technology. We must build all this technology inside the platform and open to the partners, to the developers, and ensure they can develop more exciting, intelligent apps and contents and provide it to our customers. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Wang.
Thank you.
I go to the developers. And Andreas, I will ask you, can you tell us more what kind of integration support you provide for the developers?
Yeah, sure. So maybe I just want to mention one thing, expanding on what Mr. Wang said. Yeah. For our Huawei Mobile Services strategy, it's actually something that's been ongoing for quite a while, right? In Europe, as an example, we launched the first services back in 2016 with Huawei ID. And we've had, the continual expansion of the services up until the current service ecosystem, as I presented earlier, with 24 kits now. So this is at the very, very foundation of what we want to do, right? We want to deliver the tools that developers need to build great experiences. So the 24 kits are, the base for this. You can integrate different kind of functions into your apps, right? Whether it's basic development functions like maps, whether it's engagement functions like push notifications, or whether it's monetization functions like in-app purchase, as SOS Travel did. On top of this, we have a very proactive approach in supporting developers, right? So we have our support teams in each country, support engineers that can help with integrations, help with questions, give it, the local touch or global touch, right? Yeah. Then finally, we also have our remote testing infrastructure, so that wherever you are in the world, we give you access to our devices so that you can test remotely through our DGX labs. Where actually, we don't use emulators, we actually do real device testing, and you can just plug in through your browser into a real device and run your app and make sure that it runs very well. So with everything, we try to take an end-to-end approach, right? Like with the chipset to the cloud, the same kind of approach applies to how we want to support developers.
Very nice, thanks. Let's move over to you, Jaime, about the app gallery. How is that? How do they benefit for developers? Can you say something about that?
So before going to the detail of the benefits, I think it's interesting to understand why we are doing all this. What is the motivation or the vision of Huawei to go into this kind of route? Many would say, well, there's already an ecosystem of app stores out there, and it has been working for the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. But what Huawei does is, instead of imposing what we think is a good idea, is we listen to what is needed. We ask the users, we saw in Mr. Wang's presentation, what users need. We ask the developers, we have a developer community, and we ask them, what do you guys need? Developers, they need easier development, lower effort, bigger opportunity. Users, they need more reliable, faster, easier to use, more innovation. So what we have designed is a platform that is a bridge between content and the right audience. What we have created, opposed to an advertisement spamming of banners, is a contextual recommendation of pertinent content from the best sources to the right audiences that follows what makes the mobile phone so unique. You know what it is? Is that the mobile phone adapts to your life. Yeah. So our app gallery is not a standalone app store. It's part of an ecosystem connected that follows what you need. As an example, Let's imagine that you as a user, you need to plan a trip to Japan. You need to browse different apps, find them, search hotel booking, taxi booking. If you're a millennial, a young user, a technological user, that's very easy for you. But there's population that maybe don't know how to find these apps, maybe don't remember the name, maybe they don't have memory in their phones. So we have a system that maybe we'll elaborate later, that is our Huawei Assistant, our quick apps, our artificial intelligence nucleus, that pulls the content of the apps and shows directly what you need. We combine the offers of different travel agencies and flight companies to give you the best price for a Japan trip. So what we do is basically serve you the best experience, not promote a partner that has spent more in advertisement. It is a more contextual, closer to the user. We don't do ads, we do recommendations. App Gallery is the center of that nucleus. If you want to exist in that ecosystem, you need to be in App Gallery.
That is very important. So that is just a good example to explain the all scenario solution in the future. So travel is a very typical solution. Yeah, typical scenarios. Yeah.
I think very, very fundamentally, actually, this is what, in my opinion, makes a smartphone, right?
Yeah.
A phone where you don't have to actually tell the phone what to do anymore, but a phone that does the work for you.
Exactly.
So this is what I consider to be a true smartphone, and that's the kind of vision that we are following and have been following with on-device AI, but now also with our assistant solution. Yeah.
And I think joining Huawei Gallery is not only joining the gallery, it's about joining Huawei innovation. And how we have seen, I think, customers nowadays complaining about the lack of innovation into the apps marketplace. And with the opening of our HMS capabilities, we offer a true opportunity to app developers to really innovate and bring a seamless experience cross devices with the CAS Plus or the DV Kit. So I think it's a great opportunity for app developers to really go the extra mile and really offer an innovative experience for our customer.
Yes, we're touching really into some of the statements from the customers that we saw on the film today. And I think one of the key issues there was security, privacy. Can you say a little bit more, Mr. Wang, about the focus on the security? You had some good slides about that. When it comes to the protection on the apps, can you say something more about that?
Yeah, I think one of the most concerns of the current user, they are very care about the security, the privacy security. They need a high level protection. So Huawei, our solution is we provide end-to-end solution. Especially we leverage our core capabilities like the on-device. We have we call this a trust execution environment. Mm-hmm. All those sensitive data, just I mentioned during my presentation, like the fingerprint data, like your bank ID, all those data will be only put into these trusted places. And I want to restatement again. So Huawei is the only smartphone company. We got the license, we got the approval of the highest privacy protection industry. We call it
EAL5.
CCEAL5 Plus.
Yeah. And you guys are the first one actually to reach that
level,
right?
Yes, we are the only one, right?
Yeah.
And this is from the hardware level, and from the app gallery level. So we understand we must to make sure the apps published on the app gallery must be safe, must be low risk.
Yeah.
So we develop a totally new process to make sure the apps is safety. For example, we are developing the technology if some of the apps, the user download the apps, so the apps will ask for some authorities like your phone book, the camera, or your microphone. I think this is a typical situation in the Android-based smartphone. But our plans, we want to manage those applications.
Yeah.
Once they apply some authorities, they need to give the users the options. So user will maybe only give those applications only one time authorities. Yeah, that is the very important fact. We must to solve these safety issues. Yeah.
Sorry, Narf, before moving to the next question, I think there is a fundamental difference regarding privacy for Huawei than for many other companies. Last year, there was a legislation of the General Data Protection, the GDPR, that appeared in Europe. This took many companies by surprise. Many companies had a roadmap of product and services that didn't include that level of privacy and security, and they had to change the route and incorporate new features on the way. It's like trying to add additional bricks to a house when it's already built. It's complicated. Many companies struggle with that. We don't.
Yeah.
Because our products, our services are privacy by design. It means that we were already prepared for this level of privacy and security. And that's why we get so easily the certifications of the European Union about the level of security, because we were planning to be like this already. So now we count on certifications from Europe at all the levels of what we have built. Accounts, like Huawei ID, payments, the system, the transmission of data, the encryption.
Yeah.
The fact that it's end-to-end encrypted, it means, well, two things. I will tell you an anecdote. It's two things. When we decided before GDPR to create the data centers to store the data of users outside of China, so like the rest of the world, the European users, the American users, the Latin American users, the Middle East users, we selected what is the most demanding country, the most difficult to please in terms of privacy and security. We found Germany. So if Germany is happy, everyone is happy. And that's where our data center is. So any private data from any user, any photo from any user, family or anything, is not only fully encrypted from the phone to the server, and even us owning the servers, I couldn't access these photos. I would see like the matrix numbers. I wouldn't be able to see them. But also, they are under the supervision of the German government and the European Union to ensure the highest standard on earth of privacy and protection. We take it the most seriously. If we didn't take a better country or harder than Germany, because we couldn't find one. So that's how seriously we take it. For us, it's paramount. And as I said in my presentation, we have rejected 37% of the apps submitted to the store because they didn't meet the standards of quality, security, and privacy. We are not interested in growing to millions of apps if these apps can be a detriment of the experience of our users.
But you're also helping these companies to make sure they're,
Completely.
GDPR regulated and everything. So
Completely. We can help developers being compliant with security. We provide support. It's not like rejection and you don't know why. It's more like your terms and conditions should be more restricted to certain areas, the use of this data, or this behavior of the app is not compliant with the level of security or the expertise we want. So yes, we got developers.
Yes, right now a lot of Chinese developers, they want to expand their business to the overseas market. So our knowledge about this GDPR compliance will enable them to move more faster, more smoothly to expand their business to the overseas market. Yeah.
And I think we are following the same approach when we design new product. So it's really about security. So we all sit down with the engineering team and design our software to be safe, to be secure. So we have introduced on-screen fingerprint. We have a 3D face unlock. But it's also about how we design our OS. So as Mr. Wang mentioned, we have a different environment for biometric data. It's really about security and privacy. We really want to offer the best to our customers. And we have done the same with the AI chipset. So we were the first company to compute AI algorithm on board instead of actually sending data on the cloud and risking a security breach. So,
I think the philosophy of the company, the business model is different.
Yeah.
So we always take the customer, the consumer as a top priority. So we don't want to make money from the data, from the traffic, or from all these things. So that is why we design our operating system, design our emotion UI, design the whole mechanism, all the based on to protect our users, protect their privacy data, to give a totally safety environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand trust is a big issue and a very important factor here. Let's move over to the mobile kit. Mr. Wang, there was an announcement about partnership with TomTom for your Huawei Mobile Service Core Map Kit. Can you tell more about the kits that Huawei is developing?
Yes, I think we just launched our HMS, the 24 kits. It's 15th of January, yeah. All those kits is a fundamental service we must to provide to the developers and publishers to make sure their apps and content could be published on our gallery, and our users could be easily to download their service and applications. And what's more, so in the future, we have plan to open some of the core capabilities of Huawei. For example, the camera. You know, we in the past, I think 4 years, start from P9. So Huawei first introduced the dual camera system, partnership with Leica. So that is the world's first dual camera system, and to offer our customer the best-in-class experience of the mobile photography. So year by year, we improved our capability of camera and video. So right now, we decide to open the camera technology and the capability to our developers. We will ensure developers can leverage the high technology to develop some more intelligent, more high-tech apps. That is a good example for you, yeah.
Very good.
And at the same time, we are step by step to open some of the like machine learning and artificial intelligence, scan, and a lot of kits will be open to all the developers.
I think, I mean, with the launch of the first chipset with an NPU, so a neural processing unit, which basically allows you to run AI models on the device, we kind of started a revolution. I mean, a lot of experts say that most phones by 2023 will actually have on-device AI capabilities. This is the kind of like innovation that I think we helped kick off. It brings us to a very interesting point. I mean, you know, again, back to the strategy, what our strategy is to give the best hardware to developers to build the best apps and content for their customers and our Huawei users. So that's kind of like how everything sort of ties together from a strategic point of view.
That's really interesting. On-device AI, I'm fascinated. Can you tell a little bit more about the plan going forward with that?
So, I mean, on-device AI, as I said, it's also something we kicked off some time ago. But in principle, the idea is that we want to make a smartphone smart, right? So how do you do that with AI? So in January in London, we launched the ML kit. And the ML kit allows developers to integrate AI functions into their apps quite easily. So things like for example, face detect or image recognition. And the really cool thing about it actually is that we can do a lot of these things, as we already said, on device. this isn't only good from a privacy point of view, but from a developer point of view, it's also good because they don't need the server time to kind of like do the calculations. And from a user, it's good because they don't use data and it's much faster. So we're going to continue down that route, you know, at the very core of what we do, you know, the 1 + 8 + n. The smartphone in the center is powered by AI. So it is literally at the very core of what we do. So it's quite exciting. I love my job.
I understand.
I think, allow me to, please, I know this event is for developers, but since we have given a very technical answer, I would like to tone it down a little bit and express the business wrap-up of what we said. Basically, we're addressing two types of developer needs. Those developers that want to preserve the status quo and keep doing the same as they were doing in the Huawei ecosystem, we have that for them. We have all the kits necessary for developers to continue the work. Ads, maps, location, push, payments, everything they would need, totally autonomous. But on top of that, we enable capabilities that are not available in other ecosystems, thanks to artificial intelligence, thanks to our cameras, thanks to our nucleus of intelligence in the processors, thanks to 5G. So we are taking the development capabilities to the next level that the Western world has probably not seen yet.
Yeah.
So our ecosystem is for the comfortable and for the ambitious. For the comfortable, because as my colleague Andreas explained, our App Gallery Connect provides capabilities of development with less effort. We have serverless development that reduces 50% the development time. We have the quick apps that we mentioned, that basically, to give you an idea about our quick app from the store, you just find it and open. A normal Android app, you find it, click on install, download, get it in your phone, find the icon. That makes a difference of open rate. Open rate of a normal Android app is 10%. Open rate of a quick app is 72%. So the user acquisition cost and the engagement of the user is much better with our technology. So we are offering less effort, more opportunity, and expand beyond technical capabilities.
Great, you got straight into the next question actually. Andreas, can you say a little bit more about what kind of apps is more suitable for quick apps?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think quick apps is a very exciting format, especially for companies that have a very good HTML5 website. Because with that, you can simply convert your website into a quick app, which literally only takes a couple of hours. We even have an own IDE to do that. We also have a lot of quick app games, actually. I think for gaming, it's a very interesting field because actually the amount of code needed to make a quick app is about 20% of that, of a full Android app. And then finally, just to touch on one point that Jaime made, actually, the great thing about a quick app is also that you can scale it to multiple touch points. So this is much more difficult if you have a full-fledged app because it's quite heavy. It can be quite heavy. But a quick app you can actually embed, for example, in Assistant, and because it's a non-installation, it's an installation-less application. So there's a lot more flexibility that you gain from it. So any developer who's really interested in quick deployment and being able to reach multiple touch points with relatively little work, for them I would say, at least take a look at our documentation on quick apps.
Very good. I can see we're running out of time, but we have one more question, if that's okay. Matt, you were mentioning before about support other hardware manufacturers. Yeah. How is that possible?
Well, I think it's about creating an end-to-end customer experience, right? And it's about creating an ecosystem of devices. If it would be just about Huawei devices, we as a company don't believe that would be possible. So we want to work really closely with other partners and with other hardware manufacturers. And Siwi is a really good example. It's what our customer want. Our customer loves to take picture, but they also want to be able to print it out and share it. And it's feedback that we are receiving from our customers. So we wanted to work really closely with them to bring a delightful and unique experience for our customers. And we are sharing our technology. So share is something we had in our I would say, core services. But we want to share it with partner to bring this experience as well. So you will see it. I mean, as we have seen on my video, it's just 10 seconds now. Before it was between 10 and 20 minutes, which is definitely better for our customer and for their user as well.
I think I would add one more comment. So, right now in Europe, there are a lot of traditional industry. For example, the Leica. The partnership with Leica, we recreate some of the energies of this traditional industry. We bring some of the digital internet to the traditional family, this industry. So that is maybe could be the benefit for the local society.
Yeah.
Another example is currently in Europe, they are very fragmented. A lot of currencies, languages. So how to unite it and to give more local, like the developers, more support. That is, we believe this is also one of the important reasons and opportunities for Huawei to create such a totally new ecosystem.
Yeah, and that's what you were mentioning, right? The local perspective. I love the comment about Oslo, since I'm from there. So it's very, very interesting. I think we probably have to wrap up now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for a very interesting discussion.
Thanks.
Jaime, Matt, Mr. Wang, and Andreas, thank you for inviting me here. And I can't wait to follow you guys, the success going on forward, and keeping, the dialogue with the developers, the partners, and I'm very happy to be here with you guys. So thank you very much, and thanks for this online summit.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.